How many days are there in 2020?
367.
Okay. Do you have an explanation for why it's 367?
That's a leap year.
And when it leaps 367?
Okay, it's supposed to be 364. 364, it says 364.
Hey, what's up, world? It is Paul Stevie Strivia. My name is Layemi Fearless. Yes, I know that is very obvious. You're seeing gloves on my hands. Well, global best practices. Very important. Protect yourself to protect other people. Absolutely important. So despite everything happening in the world right now, we're still here to serve you entertainment. So we're going on the streets of Lagos once again, and we're asking, what gets wetter and wetter as it dries? It means it almost never stays dry. As it dries up, it's wet again. What comes to your mind? Well, it depends on what comes to your mind, but we will be finding that out on the streets of Lagos. So come with us, let's find out. There is something that gets wetter and wetter as it dries. So it means that immediately it dries, it gets wet again. It dries, it gets wet again. It keeps getting wet. What do you think it is?
Seriously.
Yeah, say it. Go ahead. It's a free world.
Please, can you say it again?
Something that gets wetter and wetter as soon as it dries. So it almost never stays dry. Immediately it's dry, it's an opportunity to get wet again.
Do I call it? It's not rain. No, it's not rain. Something like seriously, I don't know.
Something that gets wet, dries, makes it get wetter and wetter. The only thing I can think of, I don't want to say it on camera.
This is a free world. We judge nobody. Just go ahead and say it the way it is.
Oh no, it is a snail. The snail of a woman.
The snail of a woman.
Yeah.
Women, they sell snail.
They get snail under the bros. Small liver like that for there.
This snail we are saying, does it have shell?
Let's leave it there, bro. It's just a snail of a
Just
woman.
that last question, does it have shell? That
It
snail.
doesn't have a shell. Yeah.
But it get vegetation around them.
There are some vegetation, yeah.
It gets wetter and wetter. As soon as it dries, it gets wet again. Sounds strong. Mount.
Your mouth, they dry sometimes.
Dry, it gets wet again. It dry, it gets wet again.
Any other thing that comes to mind?
Not really.
It gets wet again. It depends. Is it in human form or which state?
Well, I want to know whatever, because there are different answers. So I want to know whatever form that comes to your mind.
Maybe a female private part. Yeah.
The ones you know, they get wet, immediately they get dry.
Sometimes they get wet, sometimes they get dry. After getting dry, even if it is not wet, you wet it again.
It's not like you see it often, yeah?
No, not really.
Just biology knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay. There is something, it gets wetter and wetter as it dries. So it means that it almost never stays dry. As it gets dry, it's wet again. What comes to mind?
Can't think of anything right now, like right off the top of my head. Gets wetter and wetter as it dries. Nothing comes to mind.
Okay, cool, no problem.
Tongue.
Tongue.
Yeah.
Tongue did dry. Apart from tongue, what else can you think of?
As soon as it's dry, it gets wet again. What comes to mind? I can't really get it.
You don't know of anything that, wet. You need it wet. It's when it's dry, for you to use it, it becomes wet.
When it's dry, for me to use it again, it becomes wet. Can't get off that thing, actually.
It's wet again. Your tongue.
Why do you think it's your tongue?
When you have no water, when you're thirsty, it gets dry and when you drink water.
I think the tongue,
Why do you think it's the tongue?
because it's always wet, and sometimes when you feel like it's dry, it's still wet.
So anything else comes to mind?
No.
What comes to mind?
Our tongue. Our tongue. The tongue.
Why do you feel it's the tongue?
Because I think it's the only thing that gets almost every second. It's always wet.
Does it get dry?
At the time you feel dry in your tongue and then suddenly you feel salivating again.
So aside the tongue, what else do you think could fit that?
Actually, really nothing in my mind. Just a talk.
What is it? What do you think it is?
I have no idea.
It's just a function of just thinking, a little thought.
Lately, it gets dry, sweat again.
What time it dries again? Okay, what comes to my mind is our trees. Yeah, when the dew comes, it dries. Then later again, it gets wet, it gets damp again. So it's the trees that comes to my mind now.
You can't think of something else that gets wet immediately. Like it almost doesn't stay wet long enough.
Paper? Yeah, paper. We all know if paper gets wet, it tears easily. And it doesn't dry. Even if you leave it for a little while, it dries, but it still shreds.
How many days are there in 2020?
367.
Do you have an explanation for why it's 367?
That's a leap year.
And when it leaps 367?
Okay, it's supposed to be 364. 364, it says 364.
Okay. Why?
Because February has 28 days.
So this February that ended was 28 days.
Yeah.
This year 2020, how many days?
All around is the 365 days we have.
And the same applies to 2020.
Yeah, the same applies to me. I don't see any change. It's still the same.
How many days? 365
Days in 2020.
This year.
The month.
The whole of the year, how many days in total do we have this year?
I think this is leap year, I guess so, but I don't know.
You can't put a number to the days.
Well, that trees. This year is supposed to be 365 days, right? But 300 and I don't know.
Okay, it's fine.
2020, 336.
336. Why? Why is it 336?
Because they leap year.
This year, how many days?
Basically, it's 360 days. 305 days. Yes.
This year, 2020, how many days?
It's a leap year. How many days are in 2020? 366.
365, 365 days.
Okay. This 2020, how many days?
Strong one.
Everything is strong for your side.
Okay, we have 265 days in a year, right?
I'm the asker, bros. Don't they ask me question.
Well, okay. It's 265 days now. I mean, in a year. It's 365 days now.
How many days are there in 2020? How many days?
2020, how many days?
This year, 2020, how many days?
366.
Why?
We have a leap year in it.
It's not 360. Okay, it's a leap year, so it's 366.
2020 is a leap year, so we should have 366 days.
How many days?
2020 is a leap year. So that should be 366.
366 days.
Yeah.
366.
Why 366?
It's a leap year.
Okay, see, what goes on in your mind is not what goes in another person's mind, don't forget. Because ideally, what gets wetter and wetter as it dries, it's a towel. That's all I had in my mind, it's a towel. So I'm hearing snail that does not have shell, that has vegetation. What is that? Until next time on Pulse TV Strivia, my name is Layemi Fearless. Remember to always protect yourself. Wear some gloves if you have to. Use a nose mask if you have to. But very important, always have your hand sanitizer. Sanitize yourself as quickly and as much as possible and wash your hands every time. Don't touch your face. Stay protected and we'll be fine. Bye-bye.